Welcome in, Monday edition Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you today. A lot of college football news. Ole Miss headed to Atlanta for the Peach Bowl. They will play the Penn State Nittany Lions SEC Big Ten game. I think maybe the only third time in program history Ole Miss has played a Big Ten team, something like that. So we'll touch on that a lot today. We'll look at the college football playoff rankings, where everybody's headed, where SEC teams are headed, going through a lot of bowl stuff. And then get to some basketball. But with football going on, basketball probably will get moved a little to tomorrow as well. But we'll talk about the big weekend in Oxford, the big Saturday, as they knocked off the Memphis Tigers 80-77 at the Pavilion, moving to 7-0 on the season. They've got the Mount St. Mary's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock from the Pavilion before their second true road game of the year. That is in Orlando against the now Big 12 UCF Sunday afternoon. So all that and more coming up on the show. All podcasts on PW Digital, brought to you by Twisted Tea, the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford, Beer Cave. Look, got a lot of bowls going on. There's like 127 bowls. You'll need some alcohol to get through all those things. Let them take care of you. The Beer Cave, you get the lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides bread, any size fountain drink, and more. It's a clean, convenience store. Get some gas, head in, fill up, get your snacks, get your 49-cent fountain drink fill up, the big sip, as they call it. You get that there also at the Oxford Exxon. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes of business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guests will join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Just barring real-time announcements, not spending a ton of time on this today, but the transfer portal already going nutty with quarterbacks this morning. Kyle McCord, the quarterback at Ohio State, jumped in, and then one that's probably a lot more relevant to the SEC, Dylan Gabriel, just jumping into the portal at Oklahoma seconds ago. So the Jackson Arnold show has started in Norman, but we're both aware of what that could potentially mean with Dylan Gabriel here.
That could mean the Dylan Gabriel era at Mississippi State is set to begin.
It could, yes. That is accurate. So, again, everybody who's at all connected says that today is going to be the weirdest day in portal history. We'll see. It's only 8:14, and you're seeing starting quarterbacks at top 10 programs jump in. You're seeing a lot of stuff move. So just heads up there.
They were telling wide receivers, they being Mississippi State, that a quarterback was on his way.
Well,
I'm not saying that is Dylan Gabriel at all, but there you go. He and Jeff are very tight.
Oh, I mean, I think that's. Now it's going to take a budget hit. It's going to be a lot of your thing, but you got to have a quarterback to win. So I mean, you go get the quarterback. It's worth it. What if you have the money and
you have to have a quarterback to run that offense?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that. So because look, that's what happened. I mean, State has put a huge push on a lot of wide receivers. They have made them priorities. They've probably overspent a little bit to make some splash, tried to make some things happen. You've seen that even the way that Ole Miss's room has matriculated from a recruiting standpoint here in the last few days. So it's, just kind of part of it. We'll see where it goes. But heads up there now as, Gabriel in the portal. Bruce Feldman with a tweet basically saying, does he follow Lebby to MSU immediately? So he says Oregon, USC, and Ohio State will jump in the chase and run the price up, though, drawing big money for Dylan Gabriel. Again, that coming from Bruce Feldman here moments ago. So anyway, we'll get into portal stuff as we go. Again, if things hit here on the morning, but Ole Miss does sneak into the New Year's Six. They're headed to the Peach Bowl. That's December 30th. That's 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central. for that game. They finished number 11 in the college football playoff rankings. It was the place they had to get to. They had to hold off Oklahoma, speaking of Dylan Gabriel and his Sooners, because that number 12 spot was going to go to a group of 5 team no matter what. SMU knocked off Tulane, knocking the wave out in the AAC championship game. But alas, Liberty took that spot. The 13-0 Flames will head to the Fiesta Bowl. They make a New Year's Six. They have the 133rd strength of schedule in the country, which is dead last, by the way. Completely dead last.
Who's this?
Liberty.
Oh.
Yeah. SMU loses to a Big 12 team and gets passed by Liberty with the 133rd strength of schedule. I'm not losing my mind over it, but really odd there. So anyway, Ole Miss number 11, number 10, Penn State is the opponent. Several familiar faces on that from a coaching staff standpoint. Manny Diaz, former guy on our hot boards and whatnot. He's DC with the Nittany Lions. You got obviously James Franklin there. Really good defense, one of the top statistical defenses in the country, maybe the top statistical defense in the country. If I'm on at least a couple things. The Peach Bowl guy kept saying that yesterday, so I'll take his word for it, whatever he was backing up from a stat standpoint. But Ole Miss, again, does get in there with the Peach Bowl. The Citrus Bowl did not take LSU. They took Tennessee. LSU didn't want to go to the Citrus. Citrus didn't want LSU. They went Tennessee. So that all came down there, and all a product of Alabama sneaking into that number 4 spot and the college football playoff rankings, giving everyone their think pieces and their pitchforks here as it ends up Michigan number 1, Washington number 2, Texas number 3, and then Alabama number 4, leaving out 13-0 Florida State, the first time a Power 5 undefeated champion has been left out in the college football playoff era. So we'll knock all that stuff down, but there's the quick Cliff Notes version of this. Neal, you've watched a ton of Big Ten football. What's the very quick scouting report on the Nittany Lions?
Really good up front on both sides of the ball, especially defense. Their defensive line is legit. They can get to the pass rusher. They're pretty quick defensively. They look defensively more like an SEC team. Offensively, they're pretty sluggish. I'm not crazy about Drew Aller, however you say his name. He's fine. They'll run the ball pretty well. They're pretty conservative offensively. They'll take some deep shots, but they're not as good on the offensive side as they are the defensive side. They're legitimately good on the defensive side of the football. I mean, Ole Miss will have to play really well on the edges up front to be able to do some of the things that Ole Miss likes to do.
Are they what's the opt-out situation for Penn State potentially? Or some of those guys, seniors, draft guys who would be jumping?
I mean,
Franklin didn't really answer the question yesterday in that way. Lane said he did not expect anything because, frankly, they didn't have any number 1 picks.
Yeah, I don't know their roster well enough to dive into that. Franklin was very clearly had spent the early part of the day working on recruiting and other things. He just jumped in front of a Zoom and did the.
He admitted he had not seen a thing. Honestly,
I don't think he was particularly locked.
I don't think he even had the initial report that Lane said he had in front of him. Where Lane was basically like, "Hey, they handed me some stuff, but I haven't really gone through it to this point."
Yeah, so I don't know. Typically, if you're a first round guy, you think about opting out, but that's not particularly. The NFL doesn't like that a lot. Like, if you're Marvin Harrison Jr., do you play in a bowl game? I don't know. But if you're a second round guy, they
go play.
You play, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the case. We debated all week whether the New Year's Six mattered, whether the more winnable game against Iowa mattered. It's kind of in the middle. Penn State, obviously not as good as some of the other opponents that you could run into inside the New Year's Six, but they are better and much more talented overall than Iowa, who they beat number 31-0 during the regular season. Penn State living off a record of 10-2, very similar to Ole Miss. They lost their 2 biggest games. They lost to Michigan. They lost to Ohio State. They beat everybody else in pretty resounding fashion. You look through and they sort of scuffle with Indiana, but outside of that, Penn State had a lot of blowouts on the schedule. I think it's their maybe their 5th New Year's Six in like 8 years or something like that. I want to say they had some run going like that. And maybe that's all of them, because I saw earlier that New Year's Six bowl appearances during the playoff era. This is obviously Ole Miss's 4th. That is a tie for 7th nationally in most New Year's Six bowl appearances. So basically finishing in the top 11 in the country in the regular. So through the conference championship games, Ohio State leads it with 10, Alabama 9, Clemson 7, Georgia 7, Oklahoma 6, Michigan 5, Penn State 5, and then at 4 it is Florida State, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, and Washington in that pile. From an SEC standpoint, Ole Miss third, ahead of everybody but Alabama and Georgia.
Yep.
Florida has 3, LSU has 2, Auburn has 2, Mississippi State has 1, and Mizzou, A&M, and Tennessee have 1 as well. So that is that's your number.
Been writing this for weeks now. They've emerged as the number 3 program in the conference. I mean, you can argue LSU if you'd like. The numbers don't stand up to that. Ole Miss is 28-10 in the last 3 years, and this is 2 Access Bowls. And the one year that they didn't make an Access Bowl, they were 8-1 in November. He's done a remarkably good job by any metric. There's only 2 programs in the league that are ahead of them, and those are 2 of the top programs in the country. That's it. Everybody else is that's where they are. The whole WAOM thing and all that stuff, it's so stupid. It's idiotic. You're 28-10 in the last 3 years. There's only 2 programs in the league that are better than that. Now they're way better than that.
Yeah, sure.
But they're better than that.
Yeah, sure.
And frankly, there's a fall to 3rd. I mean, to 4th, to 5th. I mean, there's 28.
What's 4th? Tennessee or LSU?
I think it's Tennessee. Maybe it's LSU. I don't remember. They're all in the mid-20s. And then there's a fall down to that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of schools that have 8, 9 fewer wins than Ole Miss does over the last 3 years. Do the math on that. That's 3 wins a year. Mm-hmm. Significant.
Getting asked on the stream, yes, Chris Lowe was reporting Matt Luke has taken the offensive line coach job at Clemson under Dabo Swinney. So Matt headed there. That's what he wanted. Happy for him. Like Matt a lot. So congratulations to him in that move. If he's ready to get back into it. And, they're all wired a certain way. Got a little time off, got time to refresh. Really enjoyed it per everybody that I've talked to about it. I know he turned down at least one smaller job as a head coach, but going there to Clemson, where Swinney's trying to right the ship a bit, even though they still very good, but just falling off that insanely elite level that they've been out a few years. And look, really that's the news of yesterday above all else. I mean, we can break down a lot of things, but the 2 quick ones are. And they match up together, is that Ole Miss, I think, got rewarded over Oklahoma because of strength of schedule. Ole Miss had the number 6 strength of schedule in the country. They appeared to really focus on that in a couple different ways from a strength of scheduling standpoint. And then 2, it was a sign to everyone that basically if you are not in the Big Ten or the SEC, you're screwed. That is the answer to what that meant from a playoff committee standpoint. I get we would not even be having the conversation if Jordan Travis was not hurt. We also would not be having the conversation if that was Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State or Michigan or probably even Ole Miss at the same time either. SEC schools, Big Ten schools. I think that yesterday was the absolute end of the ACC because you can't even say that your conference champion undefeated gets any benefit of the doubt whatsoever because of the 13 people in that room yesterday.
Agreed.
I'm not sure. Like, again, we can debate whether they made the correct decision. As I have been on for weeks, I hate the way the wording is. They left themselves tons of loosely worded things to do whatever they wanted to do and find a reason to do it. But it is completely it contradicts itself in so many different places when you actually read what it is they are supposed to be putting together, because it says factor in injuries. Okay. The next sentence is do not worry about margin of victory. Well, if I'm factoring in injuries and then I'm not worried about, I can get it, it's fine. If I'm not worried about margin of victories, then that completely goes against one another because they went 13-0.
Yep.
They deserve to make it. Now, are they one of the best 4 teams? No, they're not.
No,
they're not. It's not close, frankly. But here's where that's all screwed up, Neal, is that if you're literally just going by the best 4 teams, then you watched this championship game and went, just Georgia's still one of the best 4 teams.
Of course.
Put the Bulldogs in.
Of course.
There's no way Washington, no, you're just not as good, so I don't care what you do. That's where it is so dumb in so many different ways, is that it has created this just stupidity as we move forward.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the stupidity, but I think there's a bigger word.
Yeah.
I think the word was and I don't know the word. This is a lot of words, right? We're going to do whatever the hell we want to do.
That is the answer. And we're going to find one stat that makes sense, and we're going to ignore everything else.
Yeah, and we're going to
that does it.
We're going to do what we want to do. That's what they did. Alabama won the game, and when Alabama won the game over Georgia, Alabama got in. And had there been frankly, had Oregon beaten Washington, they might have just put Georgia in anyway. I don't know. Who knows? We'll never know. But they weren't putting Florida State in. And if you're Florida State and you feel wronged, you should.
Oh, I felt terrible for the players and Mike Norvell.
You should feel wrong.
Yeah, I felt terrible for those guys.
Because the explanation of Jordan Travis getting hurt is total bullshit. Pardon my language. It's a total joke. It's a total joke. They beat LSU. You can't. On some people go, well, they have.
But you can because they put it in there. Don't even put it in there. That's the point. Why are we even saying factor in injuries?
But let's be serious for a minute. What happened? This is an ESPN production.
Sure.
ESPN and ABC are in a deal with the SEC.
Sure.
They were not going to say, hey, no SEC. They weren't going to do it. They weren't going to do it. This was about money.
Our biggest viewing region is going to get into this thing. Just heads up.
Why is Ole Miss in? Because they're in the SEC. All you people that do the Greg Sankey thing, you're wrong. You're wrong. Oklahoma didn't get in. Oklahoma's like, thank God we're in the league next year. And you should be thanking God you're in the league next year. Because it's the power league. There's 2 power leagues. And they ran this thing. But Oklahoma didn't get in, I believe, because Ole Miss is in the SEC and because the Peach Bowl wanted Ole Miss. The Peach Bowl knew that Ole Miss would take 40,000 people to Atlanta. And that's what they wanted. They wanted a big-time SEC, Big Ten thing. And once you got down past 10 or 11 or whatever, they just maneuvered, whatever they needed to maneuver. It's not a criticism. I mean, look, you and I were talking earlier in the day yesterday, but it was looked like it was going to be Ohio State, Oklahoma, and the Cotton. Yeah. And I was like, look, if you're the Cotton Bowl and you can get Ohio State, Oklahoma, you take it. I mean, so all that stuff was maneuvering and politics and all that stuff. At the end of the day, the big story was what happened to Florida State. You're exactly right. That's the end of the ACC. They're done. But if you're Florida State, you're on the phone today going, I don't care what it cost.
Because they put the injury thing in there, I think they made the right decision. But it's not a decision they would have ever made against a Big Ten or an SEC school.
No.
Ever.
Are you telling me that if
Milroe had broken his ankle against Georgia, but they won the game, and they went, hey, nah, we saw Ty Simpson. He sucked.
Not a chance in hell.
No shot.
Are you telling me that if Carson Beck, let's say Georgia had won the game, and Carson, because that's the better comparison, Florida State went undefeated.
Yeah.
If Georgia had won the game Saturday, but Carson Beck broke his leg in the 4th quarter.
And they stalled out 4 straight possessions, you went, oh, God.
Are you telling me that Georgia would have been left out? There's not a chance in hell.
They would have been the number 2 seed.
If J.J. McCarthy had gotten injured against Ohio State, but Michigan had still won the game, and then Michigan had looked sort of sloppy, but beaten Iowa. I mean, I don't know, 19-3.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that Michigan would have been left out? You're out of your freaking mind. Not a chance in hell. And so if you're the ACC schools that actually care, you're out today. You're joining the Big 12. If you and you're making a one more push to get in the Big Ten or SEC, but you're out of that. You're out of that league. That league's dead. It's over. Grant of rights. Enough of them will now band together, and they'll get out.
Now, had they not all been jerks to start with, we'd have a 12-team playoff this year. They helped block that.
Oh, there's no question about that. We did the alliance bullshit, which was total silliness. But here we are.
Here's what they're going to get. They're going to get hellacious ratings and build-up from Michigan and Alabama, and they get this manna from heaven, godlike matchup. They get the Sarkisian, Texas-Washington thing. They get all that crap. They get everything they need here. No, the TV networks got everything they wanted, and they had an out to pull that off. That's my point, is that they went, oh, well, injuries can matter. All right, well, hey, Trav, we have a sport where a quarterback apologized on Twitter yesterday for not breaking his leg sooner. Mm-hmm. Where Florida State had a larger sample size to win without him. Mm-hmm. That happened yesterday.
I know. I saw it.
So, yes, it can the committee on paper could have done the right thing because they created a world on paper that is complete bullshit to be able to do that thing.
Yeah.
That is what happened yesterday.
Agreed.
And look, the sport's always been dumb. I mean, I told Neal yesterday, we're only 2 decades since we had split national champions.
Sure.
Where we just played bowl games, not even against each other, and just voted people number one. It
was wrong.
Everyone should thank God in that room that this happened in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that it at least allowed the Senates to go, well, there's 12 next year. Because sure, we'll always debate crap, but like the national freak out is not going to be, oh my God, Oklahoma didn't get in and Ole Miss did. Okay.
It's like I've always told you. I realize that Ole Miss people view it through an Ole Miss prism, and I certainly understand that. The disaster of 4th and 25 against Arkansas a few years ago from a big picture stage is that we probably got screwed out of moving to a bigger playoff a lot earlier. They were going to be put in an impossible position, and they just showed yesterday that when put in an impossible position, they just do whatever the networks want.
But I will say this. I heard this on ESPN multiple times yesterday, and I keep hearing, oh, my God, the committee just had such hard decisions. Poor them. They signed up for the damn thing. Shut up. Nobody put you in a room at gunpoint and made you be on the damn committee. Your ego wanted to be on that committee. Shut up.
The late Mike Leach, God rest his soul, said he said this a long time ago. He was still the coach at Washington State when he said it.
Yeah.
When he said the 4-team playoff determined by a committee was stupid. He was right. Credit to him. It just took a long time for them to finally get fully exposed. But it did. It got exposed.
That was kind of funny because, like, it wasn't nothing against them, but Michigan was going, please, Florida State. Please, Florida State. Please, Florida State. Please, please.
Of course.
Because I kind of went, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, we'll go play.
We're good.
I mean,
but that human moment for a second was, ah, damn it.
Sure.
Because you were going to get a bye.
They were going to get a freebie.
Yeah.
They were going to play Iowa again.
Yeah. And Iowa had no chance of beating Michigan on Saturday.
Of course not. No. It's like people, I didn't watch it, but people like talking about that, like the call about the quarterback. I'm like, oh, for the love of God, what difference did it make?
Yeah, it was like Ben said. He goes, are the 4 best teams in the playoff? No, the 4 best are not in the playoff because Georgia's not in the playoff.
Right.
So it's a combination. It's whatever the hell we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Your resume is better. Well, your eye test is better. But I know we're not supposed to use eye test, but we have this thing called game control. But we don't really even pay attention to it either. I mean, I watched, like, because I didn't know what time the Group of 5 thing was happening. Not Group of 5. The Access Bowl thing was happening yesterday. I thought it was 12:30, not 1:30. Mm-hmm. So I ended up watching like 3 hours of that bowl show yesterday. I mean, I'm doing other things, but it's on in front of me. And their manipulation of, well, this team is here because of this stat. And then they would go completely contradict that stat in the next sentence. And I'm like, oh, my God. What?
Well, they don't hear themselves.
Reese, ask this question. No, of course not. My God.
No, it's their partners.
It was just a really hard decision, right? Boo. I mean, y'all came back this morning to make sure you made the right call and that you did the right thing, right, Boo? Didn't just make that call yesterday. I mean, the human element really feel bad for those guys. Oh, shut up.
Well, it's like I've always said. I mean, there's not another sport that does a 4-team playoff determined by a committee. Not one. Not one. If it were such a great idea, everybody would do it.
I get it's a different thing. And again, if I was in the room, would I have done the same thing? Probably.
You wouldn't have had a choice.
I would have done but I get it. I get why they did it. It's just stupid.
Of course.
It can be both those things.
Of course. They did it because they had no choice. The money determined that they do it. I mean, look, the SEC's powerful now.
You just weren't leaving the champion out.
No.
Greg was on the phone and went, hey.
I mean, whatever had to happen, happened.
You got your team in with 1 loss over another team with no losses, and you got your 4th team in an Access Bowl over Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Power.
Hey, Bama's getting in, and hey, Ole Miss is going to the Peach Bowl. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten goes, hey, Penn State's going to the Peach Bowl too.
Sure. And the Peach Bowl said, well, we're good with that.
Yeah. So
no, I mean, look, it's why today, if you're again, I mean, I know we're kind of
yeah, it's cool.
if you're Florida State, when you get over the anger, and it's going to take a minute for them to get over the anger.
Oh God.
But when you get over the anger, the next move is, okay, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yes.
You want us to take a partial share for 8 years? Good.
We can't do this crap.
This doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if I'm Clemson today,
oh, you're going to.
I'm in the same boat. I'm on the phone. Hey, would you take us?
Mm-hmm.
What do we have to do?
Yeah, there are 2 ships. I need to be on that ship.
What do we have to do? And then here's the other part. If I'm Pitt or Wake Forest or any of those places, I'm calling the Big 12.
Yeah.
Y'all got one of them merger things? We're in.
Yeah, y'all are number 3, so let's go do that.
Let's get in.
Because your champion is going to get into this thing, so let's do that.
Because what got told to the ACC is you're nothing.
Yeah.
You're trash.
And you have no power.
No, you're trash.
Your stick is very small that you're swinging at the table.
Not strong enough to matter. Their champion went undefeated.
And beat 2 SEC teams. That's the thing.
I know. They scheduled LSU on a neutral site, beat
the
them.
Team that is Ole Miss's best win.
Yeah.
13th in the country. Yeah. 13th.
I know. And they beat Florida.
Rivalry game.
They beat
the record books.
They won every game that they could win. It's not their fault that the rest of the league's down. You can't punish them for that. They found an excuse. Here's the thing. I'm not convinced they wouldn't have done this if Travis were healthy. Who were you leaving out? Alabama? Chase.
Oh, you think even without Travis, there's a possibility?
I mean, something had to go.
You went, hey, Florida State's current schedule is 93.
They
93.
always got bailed out until they didn't get bailed out. And when they didn't get bailed out, the SEC went, okay, hey, you're going to have to eat a little pie today, fellas, because we're not leaving. Ain't nobody leaving this room without one of us in that deal.
Suitcase is packed, bud.
So figure it out. They always got bailed out.
And you're not leaving Texas out. So
I always told you I wanted the chaos. That was the one thing about yesterday that I enjoyed was we got chaos. They got exposed.
Their unluckiness on that part was Oregon not winning because they might have just left both of them out.
Sure.
And went, nah, the hell with the Pac-12.
Absolutely could have.
Y'all aren't even a league anymore. And the Big Ten doesn't get your money yet.
The ones of you that are smart enough got out. You're in the big leagues.
You'll deal with it next year. Good luck.
The league's dead.
Yeah.
Haha. Here's the final.
Yeah.
Here's the final bullet shot right into the corpse.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that's possible.
I'm not. So. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think had Oregon won, they would have left Oregon out.
Yeah, I think that's possible. Ready to elevate your college football game day experience? Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage for college football fans, is unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea, flavorful punch with 5% alcohol, no carbonation, perfect balance, a taste and refreshment that goes down smooth every game day occasion. Don't settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion. When you're cheering for your favorite team, you're tailgating in the stadium, parking lot, watching a bar, hosting friends at home. It's there to elevate your experiences. It complements your love for college football and your passion for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast unforgettable game day experiences. Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted.
Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support, and I hated taking pills. I drink AG1 every morning. I love knowing I'm doing something good for my body, giving my body the nutrition it craves, covering my nutritional bases. Covering my nutritional bases for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water, drink it first thing each morning, done. Also like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW. Check it out. Do you need stocking stuffer ideas? Something for the boss or Secret Santa? Maybe you just want to treat your own feet. Take advantage of incredible savings with Dead Soxy's Holiday 2023 sale. Head over to deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code Rebel Grove. Score 33% off. And happy holidays. And as always, stay Soxy. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? These are just some of the questions that can be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago with Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping people just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. A-Stock is a Nashville-based online retail company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1, no matter what the retail value may be. Shop now at astock.bid. That's ASTOCK.BID. Or download their app, name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock has multiple locations around Nashville, Memphis, some in Indiana, and more coming soon that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. Ole Miss headed to the Peach Bowl. You may have heard that by now. The College Corner has Peach Bowl merchandise ready for you. Go to collegecornerstore.com or check out their 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Oxford, right off of Sisk Avenue at the Oxford Commons. They've got brand new Ole Miss Peach Bowl gear waiting for you. Pick a great Christmas gift, or if you just need to grab something before you head to Atlanta later in the month, they've got you taken care of at collegecornerstore.com.
Podcast is brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. It's getting close to the end of 2023, so if you'd make year-end donations for tax purposes, call the foundation. They'll walk you through their philanthropic giving initiatives, whether it's the Vault Society or Empower. Both initiatives give you a tax-deductible way to support the Champions Now campaign. If you're working on estate planning, call the foundation to discuss Forever Ole Miss. For further information, that's 662-915-7159 or visit givetoathletics.com. The bowl schedule begins on December the 16th. Got 6 bowls to kick us off in just 12 days. I mean, you get your bowl announcements yesterday and playing the game quickly. Probably a lot of people go, hey, that's bad and good. Go ahead and get in the portal and deal with that after this is over. Get it out of the way. But then you're having to actually get ready for a game when all this crap is going on here in the portal.
Shamar Porter from Kentucky has entered the portal.
Who?
True freshman wide receiver, was one of their big recruits a year ago.
Okay. Barian Brown getting in the portal?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
The price tag on Barian Brown will be
lofty.
Immense.
Let's call it lofty. I mean, whew, boy. That's going to be one, isn't it?
Yep.
He'll know his price tag even if he doesn't get in the portal.
Oh, yeah.
That he's been pre-portaling a little bit, as we call it.
Yes.
It's a very safe, nice, calm word, isn't it? We're just doing a little pre-portaling, just a little window shopping.
I know people push back so hard.
Just looking through the magazine, the Sears catalog, if you will, see what's maybe there.
I use the word tampering and people bristle.
What's a negative connotation? No,
yeah.
We're just window shopping. It's like the Macy's Christmas displays. We're just seeing what's out there. It's all good. Looking at those Access Bowl games, obviously, as we mentioned, number 1 Michigan facing number 4 Alabama. That will be in the Rose Bowl this season. Alabama has opened up as a 1.5-point underdog now that the lines have kind of stabilized. The lines on all the bowl games were stupid all over the place yesterday, but this morning it appears that everybody's kind of found a consensus a little bit on all of them. Bama opening is a 1.5-point underdog to the number 1 Michigan Wolverines. That game is at 4 o'clock Eastern, as it always is on New Year's Day.
Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl, yes. Mm-hmm. They very much want the sun to set.
Yep.
Just as the fourth quarter is kicking off and getting started.
What are the mountains called? The San Mateo Mountains?
I believe that's correct. I couldn't remember off the top of my head, so I avoided the word. But, yeah, I think that's right. And then Texas is a 4-point favorite or a 4.5-point favorite, depending on the book you would like to use against the Washington Huskies in the nightcap. That is starting at 6:45.
Okay.
Early thoughts?
I think Alabama-Michigan will be a classic.
That number is going to be a little large.
And then I think Texas is going to beat Washington's ass.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think.
as I said in the opening, I didn't feel. I mean, like, look, I have no rage toward it whatsoever. But I did have a second where I kind of felt bad for SMU yesterday. You win clearly the better conference. One of your losses is a Big 12 team. It's Oklahoma, and yet you get knocked out of an Access Bowl by Liberty, who played no one with a pulse the entire season outside of New Mexico State, if you want to count that. And we're only counting that because they beat Auburn in their best game they played all season. But Liberty, 13-0. I'm sure there's some cackles in the right household that Freeze leaves and Liberty goes to the Access Bowl and goes 13-0 the next season.
Well, they don't go 13-0 without Freeze being there the year before to build the culture.
Oh.
Yeah. And his players, too. He built that team.
Does he get a Fiesta Bowl ring?
Oh, I would think so.
As important as Chadwell.
Without him, it doesn't happen. San Gabriel Mountains, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Not,
Where are the San Mateo? Where is San Mateo?
Sure.
Okay. Oregon is a 15-point favorite against Liberty. Early indication out of Eugene is that Bo Nix will play in this football game.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
I like Oregon, if they care at all.
Yeah, I didn't understand. They lost the other night, and some of the hatred towards them was weird. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of bizarre. It's like, I see Bo Nix is sucky or whatever. I'm like, okay, I mean, there's no empathy ever. Like, their chance at a national title's gone. He probably lost the Heisman. And everybody just piles on. We have a weird culture. I mean, no joke.
Yeah, if they win, I think he wins the Heisman and they get in the playoff. Well, barring our politics discussion that we just had.
Yeah.
They would have had a very good argument.
And by all accounts, he's a good person. I mean, I'm sure he's not perfect, but who is? But I don't know. It's just weird. I didn't mean to upset the flow there. I just noticed that. It's like a bizarre thing to, like, the Oregon hate.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just weird.
People hate success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially success they're not comfortable with. You know, there's like a certain, like, everybody just expects Alabama or Michigan or whomever to be good. But there's a group out there. It's not just media that's dumb. They don't like the new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not comfortable with that. Dan Lanning bothers people because he's won a lot at an early age. And everybody says, oh, it's Bama's guy. And it's like, no, see, he's losing games. Why would you do that? He's not that guy.
Because Nick Saban never lost a game at Michigan State or LSU. Never.
And Lanning's, 37?
Something like that. I mean, Nick Saban lost to UAB at LSU.
And look, Oregon should not have lost to Washington twice. They were better. But DeBoer's a hell of a football coach in Seattle.
He is. He's very, very good.
He's quite good.
The people who have worked with him rave about him.
Really?
Yeah.
Cotton Bowl is the Missouri Tigers and the Ohio State Buckeyes. I don't know if Adam's in our stream today, but see, Ole Miss and Missouri can just hold hands now. It's all fine. Everybody access bowling it up. It's chant SEC, something like that. It worked out. You weren't pitting against each other, apparently, after all. Sankey got you all into. It's all good.
Yep.
Everybody taken care of. Big ship here. Missouri is a 6.5-point underdog to the Ohio State Buckeyes, opening up here in the.
So is McCord going to play?
I doubt it. Right.
I mean, I would think not. So who plays?
I don't know.
I'll tell you who's going to play is everybody at Missouri. So, I mean, from a betting standpoint,
you might like that.
In bowls,
because Missouri will care more.
Take the team who cares more if it's close.
Yeah.
And Missouri will care a lot. Like, if you're Marvin Harrison, you playing in this game?
No, Drinkwitz is going to have them really caring. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, they're gonna care.
Yeah. Ohio State will not be able to match the intensity because they don't care. They've been here before. Okay, sure,
I mean, you'd
whatever.
have to kill Cody Schrader to keep him off that field.
Yeah.
Like, literally eliminate his heartbeat. They'll be there.
Ole Miss and Penn State. Yesterday, this was all over the damn place. I saw as much as Ole Miss favored by 1.5. I saw Penn State as much as 2.5. It is settled today across the board at Penn State minus 3.5 is where I'm getting it this morning. Most early predictions show the Lions winning a close game in the Peach Bowl at this point.
So I would have said 3 points.
Yeah, 3.5 right now is where it's at. The over-under currently at 47.5 is what I'm getting on it, on that, somewhere around there. So game in the 20s.
Yeah, I don't hate the under.
Really?
Yeah. They're good defensively now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you told me this was 24-20, I buy it.
I'm trying to think just through their schedule. Not that it's going to make a huge difference, but Ohio State, the only team that even goes any tempo that they have played. Just a different brand of offense that they will have seen.
Sometimes Maryland will mix in a little bit of tempo.
But that game was 50-14 or something.
Yeah.
So it did what?
No, they don't. There's not a lot of tempo in the Big Ten.
Well, yeah.
That's not their thing.
Yeah. You know, it's surprising though, more people don't do it just to show you the different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go, hey, we're just going to go tempo like hell because none of you people do it. So we'll be different and make you have to prepare for us and deal with that at that point. But Ole Miss Penn State again in Atlanta. That game's at 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern for that. So 3.5 is your line. And that Orange Bowl of teams that just missed out in the playoffs, the Georgia Bulldogs are favored by 14 against the Florida State Seminoles. I don't know.
I don't know whether Georgia will be pissed off or whether Georgia will be completely apathetic. And that will determine what happens.
Yes.
Completely.
Because if there's pissed off, lay any number you would like. If they don't care, it could be a slog and be 21-13.
And I just don't know if you're Norvell, I don't know what you say to your kids.
That video where he had to stand up and talk, and you're like,
It looked like he was having to stop some people because they were losing their minds over in the.
Yeah. You could see he put his head down, kind of took a minute, and then was like, okay, I got to stand up and say something.
Yeah,
so,
I'm the leader. I got to lead.
Talk. I did not watch it, and I know that screenshots don't show much, but the looks on the faces of him and Kirby on their Zoom last night, neither one had any interest of being on the Zoom. Because you had you going into the weekend and you went, hey, you're going to play Georgia. You go, oh, we both won. And
yeah,
we're 1-4. And
I mean, what do you say in that thing? Are we really excited to be heading down to the Orange Bowl? No, you're not.
No.
Yeah.
We are devastated beyond all words.
We'll see.
We'll see you in Miami.
We'll see if we can recover in 3 weeks.
Right. Exactly. Damn. Speaking of that Citrus Bowl that we all were kind of thinking was very, very high possibility, Tennessee and Iowa is in this game. Tennessee favored by 8 against the Hawkeyes in this one.
It's contrasting styles.
Can Tennessee score 20 points? If so, they cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Tennessee will care. I actually kind of like Tennessee.
Iowa typically cares in these games.
Iowa plays really hard in the Citrus Bowl every year. They really do. I feel like they're in the damn thing every year. They always play really hard in this game.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, LSU. LSU -10. Phil Longo. Jaden Daniels, if he plays.
If Jaden plays, I love LSU -10 here.
Do you?
Yeah. Against that defense? Yeah. Sign me up. They might score 55 points. Again.
Speaking of those Maryland Terrapins, they play the Auburn Tigers. That is a 2-point line for Auburn.
Yeah, it's been a good game.
You okay with that?
Yeah, it's a good game.
That kicks off 2 hours after Ole Miss on the 30th. Sorry for that one. Memphis playing a home game against Iowa State.
By the way, I'm so excited about an 11 a.m. Central kick. That's awesome. Yeah. That was the one bad thing about the Cotton Bowl was
it's a 7 p.m.
7 p.m. With all the TVs and the bowls. It's 11 getting done. You're 2 in the morning getting out of the stadium. Yeah, we're getting out of Mercedes-Benz at 6.
I mean, we've had this time slot before.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
11 o'clock and 14 for the last Peach Bowl. Penn State will not care the way TCU cared in 14. That level of motivation will not be present in this one.
I wouldn't think.
I don't think that's where this was. Franklin did not appear yesterday like he was about to go tell his teams the Gipper speech or anything. It was just kind of, all right, yeah, we'll do this. And
oh, yeah.
It's fine.
No, I mean, he's
a politician now. I mean, he's a scum human being, but he's a politician. He said all the right things. Hey, Lane, good to see you.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Been following your career from far. Done a hell of a job, really. Just phenomenal. Been in the SEC before. Ole Miss, hell of a program. A lot of tradition.
Well, I really haven't watched Penn State at all. I have no clue. We'll study the film starting today.
Well, it was the best part because the guy gets on the Penn State beat writer gets on the thing yesterday, and he's like, Coach, so you got this coordinator situation. How's that going to work out the next few weeks? And he's real serious about asking this coordinator thing. And they asked Lane for comment, and Lane goes, well, I'm glad he went first because I didn't know there was a coordinator situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the last Peach Bowl, I mean, you've got all the stuff leading into the week. You got 40 fighting with Neal on the internet. You've got the whole Eric Winter deal with that.
If Jackson Dart plays badly, should I tweet at Pat and go, anything?
Yeah, I'm minding my beat. I'm just asking.
Just asking.
Yeah, you got that going on. You got, I mean, what was just I'll be honest, I paid no attention to the game at all once Laramie got hurt. I mean, I was just shocked and stunned for him at that point that day. You had the locker rooms are open at bowl games. You had Robert with like all his like existentialism books in his locker and like having conversations about what the hell are you reading and what are you doing. And
yeah, that was a weird deal.
I did not know this from all of our time covering Robert. So it's on MPW Digital. It was there. Brian and I were doing a pod with Laquan Treadwell on Friday. It's on MPW Digital. Laquan said that Robert was a big cat person, that he always had cats. He was not a dog person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he was in Oxford and going through the apartment and whatnot, he had cats always. He said he lived like across the street, and Robert had like a window that went out like on one of those stilted roofs, and he said that his cat would just be hanging out on the roof of the complex or whatever all the time outside Robert's window.
I mean, I have lots of thoughts, but
yeah, he was doing a lot of casted characters through that. He said that Laquan did say he agreed with us that he was very aware that Laramie was very good at left tackle first time he saw him. That was a fact. He said basically he walked in here. I'm glad that guy plays for me.
Yeah,
quarterback's gonna have time to throw. We're gonna figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was actually on the basketball court though where he figured it out. He said you watched him do like Euro steps and stuff, and you went, "Oh, that you're not supposed to move like that." And he went, "That's gonna translate." He said they'd go to the Turner Center and hoop it up, and he believes Laramie could have been an NBA player.
Yeah.
I mean, probably a little.
Would have had to be
if you
3
put 2
inches
inches
taller.
on him, probably
probably would have needed 2 to 3 inches of height.
From a footwork standpoint, it was NBA level.
Yeah.
I guess is what he is.
Yeah,
he was saying with that. So, Kentucky Clemson. This feels like a bad matchup for the Wildcats. 7.5 is what they are getting in this game. Oregon State getting 10.5 from Notre Dame in the Sun Bowl, I believe is what that one is. Maybe the top 9 New Year's 6, Oklahoma, Arizona, although Dylan Gabriel now, don't know. Jackson Arnold will get his shot, I assume.
I guess.
I don't know how all this is working, okay? Every quarterback in the country is in the portal, so I don't know who is starting in bowl games. Like Florida State's technical backup is in the portal. They've got that freshman who's in the portal now.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. NC State, Kansas State, that's 2 program first teams playing each other there, isn't it? I mean, my God. Like asses in seats for those press conferences. Lunch pail, coming to work, gritty, all the good stuff there with that. SMU goes from playing in the Fiesta Bowl against Oregon to going to Fenway Park to play Boston College in Boston. That's where the Mustangs fell after that one.
That's gross.
Texas A&M goes to the Texas Bowl. I'm sure they'll be thrilled and take a ton over there to
God, they've got it. And half their roster about to jump in the portal.
Yeah.
I mean, today's going to be a wild day for Texas A&M.
They play Oklahoma State coming off their thrashing in the Big 12 title game. Louisville and USC is a matchup. Louisville giving 6.5 to the Trojans. Who cares? Like I don't know how to handicap that in any way whatsoever. Tulane falls all the way to facing Virginia Tech. Are they in like the First Responder Bowl or something? Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Something like
Willie Fritz leaves leaves for Houston. The news breaks during the game,
and they did not score after that.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know how it happened, but I was getting into my car in the pavilion when I saw Fritz was taking the Houston job and went, oh, and then they looked dead from that point. From that point on, whatever you want to make of it. John Sumrall and Troy, they are facing Duke in the Birmingham Bowl.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
What?
No. Can't say.
Okay. Yes, Troy playing Duke in the Birmingham Bowl. They're giving 5.5 to the Blue Devils in that game. A lot of respect there for the Trojans.
Wow, that's wild.
In that bowl game. UCF Georgia Tech is a game. They actually moved it around. It was not supposed to be that way, and the ACC came back and was trying to avoid some matchups from last season. So they reconfigured who was playing who after the initial thought to be the announcements.
Well, and the early word was that nobody wanted Louisville.
Oh, really?
Did you hear that?
No, really?
Yeah, that happened yesterday. No bowls wanted Louisville.
Would you want Louisville?
No, not even a little bit.
Because you got to have them fairly high because of where they are, and I mean that's a train wreck of a situation. Boise State has hired the interim as their full-time head coach. They play UCLA just by the way there. And then your first bowl, just as we close this section, Georgia Southern and Ohio open things up. I actually no line on that game yet. I don't know why. No clue. That's not for me to know. So anyway, we'll move on in a second. Before we do that, tell you that it's time to get a flu vaccine, especially if you're over 65. G&M Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. That's in Oxford and Holly Springs. They have their full lines of vaccines right now, highlighted by the high-dose flu shots. Again, patients over 65. Most clinics typically give the standard dose to all patients, but they highly recommend that 65 and older patients come get the high-dose flu shot from them. They also have the RSV vaccine for anyone who needs that. That's by appointment, which makes getting in and out super easy. Just give them a call to schedule. They'll take care of you. That's 662-236-2222 for G&M or 662-252-2321 for Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs.
We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. Just get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give you some options. And know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square, Opa, is the perfect place to plan your Christmas party, your company dinner, your festive party event. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well. They can accommodate up to 200 guests at Opa. For catering or booking information, contact Jeannie, 601-421-7147. We're brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. They've been connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, they can help you whether you're a seasoned professional or you're looking for an entry-level position. And if your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, they can help you as well. Just get in touch with Will, Sydney, or Kelsey, 662-832-5138, or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to state-of-the-art procedures, they can to advanced treatments, including implants and Invisalign. Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. MyPerfectFranchise.net, Andy at MyPerfectFranchise.net, or 404-973-9901.
Style Assembly is a women's boutique on the square offering clothes, shoes, purses, jewelry, art, and more. Huge selection of Gooder sunglasses for men and women. They just launched their new online store. You can now shop from anywhere. That's shopstyleassembly.com. Click shop now. Shipping is free anywhere in the U.S. on orders over $150. And use the exclusive discount RG15 on the website. Between now and the end of the year, get 15% off your first online purchase. Take care of Christmas gifts. All that stuff there at Shop Style Assembly. They are a corporate sponsor of the Grove Collective and a founding member of the Grove Collective Initiative. Again, shop online, shopstyleassembly.com, or stop by the store, 203 North Lamar next to Blind Pig. Ask for Kate. She'll personally help you out. If we had a playoff this year, Ole Miss obviously would have made said playoff. Now, it's a little screwy because next year Texas would have been in the SEC. Texas and Alabama could not have had byes because it's top four conference champions get byes. You can't have at-large byes in the thing, but just for the heck of it, play along.
So next year, Florida State would have made it as a conference champion.
They would have, yes. Yeah. That is correct. Yeah, they would have made it and gotten a bye. So they would have had to have been top 4 next year.
Yeah.
Because Georgia couldn't have jumped them and Oregon couldn't have
But
jumped
because
them.
it was this year. Right.
Yeah, no. Again, had the alliance not happened, you guys.
So next year, even if the quarterback's leg was broken.
All good.
I mean, it makes lots of sense to me. I mean, really. I mean, I think when you think about this thing logically.
It's one of my favorite questions in a press conference is the alliance thing is, and I don't know who asked the question. He was being a little bit of a jerk because he knew the answer, but he wanted it out there. And he's talking to the 3 commissioners when they had that joint thing, Klifikoff and Kevin Warren and whoever the other dude was, guy for the ACC, Phillips.
I think so.
And he's like, so I'm just curious from a legal standpoint, what are the contracts that bind this together? And then, is there workable documents that does not allow you guys to poach each other's teams or whatever? And the guy goes, there is no contract. It is a handshake agreement between 3 individuals and 41 presidents and athletic directors. And I went, all I need to know. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. That'll hold up.
No backstabbing in that room. Well, and then they turn around yesterday and go, no, it's actually the SEC's fault because they poached the Red River rivalry. It's like, no.
Well, actually not.
And
I can say this with authority. Texas and Oklahoma called the SEC. Now they took the call, but that was not an active poaching. That was Texas and Oklahoma called each other and goes, this doesn't work, right? I know we're rivals and stuff, but hey, for a minute, can we put that aside?
Hey, we're all together, so can we just?
So we need to get out of here. And so they did. They called the SEC and said, we'd be interested. And the SEC said, well, of course, we would take you.
Yeah, sure. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, and we'll go from there.
So had there been a playoff, first round games would have been held, or in 2024, they will be held December 20th and 21st. So 3 weeks-ish, a little less than 3 weeks before those first games. It'd be number 12, Liberty, playing number 5, Florida State. Although next year SMU will be in the ACC, so they would have gotten anyway. No, sorry. Anyway, okay. And just we'll worry about that later. That's not today's problem. Liberty and Florida State, 12-5. Ole Miss headed to Athens for a matchup with Georgia. But now that wouldn't have happened because Penn State, Ohio State would have been a 7-10 matchup. The committee would have switched those around and had Ole Miss play Ohio State and Penn State play Georgia.
Yeah.
That's what would have happened there.
Yeah.
They would not. They can't replicate first round games against league opponents, and they would have just flipped some numbers around, and it's fine.
Yes.
Kind of like they did anyway for other purposes. Missouri against Oregon, number 8, number 9 in that one.
Okay.
And then your quarterfinal schedule would have been Oregon, Missouri winner playing Michigan. Ohio State, Penn State winner playing Washington. Georgia, Ole Miss winner playing Texas. And Florida State, Liberty winner playing Alabama, and the Tide going. Either way, all good.
Yeah.
Hey, it's cool. Y'all take your time. Just send to whoever.
It's amazing how things work out for the Tide. Yeah. It's good to be Alabama, isn't it? It's good to be us.
Yeah, Washington gets Ohio State. It's the number 2 seed. Bama goes, I don't know. Florida State, 13-0. Tough game.
I mean.
Oh, Jesus.
It's good to be us.
Semifinals on January 9th and January 10th next year. And the championship game will be held January 20th in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Next season.
Okay.
Whew. There's that. We'll hit more on it tomorrow because Ole Miss has a basketball game tomorrow night. Mount St. Mary's again, 7 o'clock on their week. Again, they're at UCF on Sunday for their second road game of the season. They beat Temple by 1 in Philadelphia earlier in the year. But on Saturday, we talked about this going into the day, Neal, is that so often with Ole Miss basketball, they had lost the game to get to the game. Historically or over the last 10, 12 years, they would have lost to NC State, and Memphis isn't quite the same environment, and you just kind of don't get that done that you need to get. Instead, they blow out the Wolfpack on Tuesday. They win by 20-ish. Maybe it was 20 exactly now that I think about it, 72-52.
Yep.
And then get maybe what was even a better environment than I expected on Saturday. I expected, now there were a lot, I'd say 1,200-ish Memphis fans in the arena. It's a guess. I'm bad at this, but let's do that.
But a bunch. They brought a lot of people.
But they didn't bring as many as I kind of thought. Ole Miss responded. I thought the crowd was great. I was asked multiple times by people, best environment in the pavilion since, and I think it's since that Tennessee game when stuff got thrown on the floor late in the game. Either Kermit's first or second year.
His first year.
Okay, whatever that was. I think that's the answer. Ole Miss wins 80-77, and Neal and I talked about it a good bit just on the phone yesterday. So often you see teams get behind and they kind of get back in it, or you let it slip away. You don't have enough to kind of finish, and they just kept hanging around. They are down 11 early in the second half, I think is where it got the most of. I know you focused in your story on Caldwell getting a couple shots to cut it to 6 right there, or 6. Yeah, 6. He hits a 3, hits a 2. And they just stayed composed, and they've grown up in such a way over 7 games. Forget what the expectations are. I don't know. We can have that conversation, and we'll probably have it tomorrow. But that game showed me so much just on what Beard has been able to do from a coaching standpoint in such a short period of time, the way he is using his roster, the way he's using his rotation, and the way that he's taught a program that did not know how to win, and this is nothing against Kermit personally, had no ability to play with flow because of timeouts and the way he coached and just everything. They were scared of their shadow, frankly. It was hard to watch them. They were so uncomfortable on the floor in past years. And instead, he's turned Murray into a very serviceable point guard. He's found ways to use so many guys on the floor, and they're playing free and finding ways late in games to pull them out. Ole Miss, with a different coaching situation and a little different mentality, they're like 3-4 last year. They have won.
Oh, yeah.
They have won 4 games off the top of my head where the ball was in the air with the decision undecided as the buzzer went off, and they've won all damn 4 of those.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a ton.
The thing that really strikes me the most is watching him coach. You're like, oh, I see how he took Texas Tech to the finals. I get it. In a way that you can't get it on TV. You have to watch him. Even when things are just going poorly, his demeanor is so steady. It's calm. I always imagined that he would be this bombastic kind of guy.
Fiery.
And not at all. He's very positive. And I'm sure there's some moments in practice where it's, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is a come to Jesus moment here, right? But he does not do that. He reminds me of a really good major league manager where publicly everything's good. Everything's fine. Never throw a player under the bus. Ever, ever, never. Never show up a player. Now, privately, you have some real conversations. That's him, I think. His ability to just, when the waters get real choppy, to just slow the boat down. Just, we're going to navigate this. We're going to find some calmer water here.
Mm-hmm.
He's able to do that in a way that not many coaches can do. I mean, look, Memphis is talented. Let's be clear. Memphis has real basketball talent. They got some dudes on that team.
Give me a couple of them Joneses. I'll take that dude.
They're good.
23 inside Dandridge.
He's a physical guy, very talented, has good feet. You're down 11 early in the second half. Their crowd's getting into it.
And you had played okay and we're still down 11.
Yeah,
it was like,
you've been okay, and you're down 11, and Alan Flanagan's got 3 fouls, and they've really leaned on him for scoring, and you're like, this is – I remember thinking to myself, all right, what's the angle here? And the angle was there because I looked down, and Memphis is winning like by 25 points in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, at the end of the day, they're just better than Ole Miss. Like, that's the story. They're just better. It's a player's game. And then made a bucket, made another bucket, and then just kind of hung at 6-7 points, and then cut into it, got it to 3, and the crowd got into it again, and then tied it up, and then they do the seesaw thing, and then at the end of the day, got it to a final minute, and they made a stop, and Memphis didn't.
Yeah.
And
they were very good from perimeter, a team that was shot so horrifically to start this season.
Well, and then Memphis is a pretty good team from the 3.
Awful.
And, well, Ole Miss did. I don't know if look, they missed a couple of open ones, but Ole Miss really did a good job of contesting the 3.
4 or 5 shot clock violations.
5 shot clock violations. I mean, that's his calling card, his defense, and you see it because a lot of defense is effort, and his guys play really hard, and he rewards them playing hard by not going ballistic when they make a screw up. Because if you play really hard, you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You play fast and you play hard, you're going to miss a rotation. And they did. They missed a couple where Memphis got an easy bucket.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was like, oh, my God, I want to kill somebody. But he didn't. He didn't. I mean, he stayed completely in the moment. Like Matthew Morrell missed a rotation and easy bucket. He can't. It's like he caught himself. Or he just never even went there. He didn't jump Matt. Because Matt, I hate doing this because it feels like I'm criticizing Kermit. They played kind of tentative the last couple of years.
No.
You made a mistake, you got jerked. He didn't. They couldn't afford to jerk Matt. Matt was 6 of 7 from 3. Is that right?
Is that right? I don't have it up.
I've got it here. Matt was 6 of 7 from 3.
Wow.
They needed Matt taking open shots, taking good shots. They were moving the offense. Allen was out of the game. They needed Matt to carry them offensively. So you can't punish him for a defensive mistake. It wasn't like he was trying to make a mistake. He just made a mistake. But he's really good. The improvement of that team from game 1 to game 7 is stunning.
I've watched every game. It's been unbelievable. Because there was multiple times yesterday where Memphis was on a little bit of a run in my mind because I'm so used, because again, I don't watch a ton of basketball. I'm used to watching Kermit. And I'm thinking, oh, timeout. Is going to call timeout, and then it just keeps going and plays through. And I started laughing at myself on Saturday. I'm like, he doesn't do that. They don't take those rush weird timeouts unless it really gets into a weird spot. I mean, they're all his timeouts are used tactically, not for game flow purposes.
Right.
And it's
in
just
fact,
totally different.
I'm sure he has once in 7 games, but
not much.
I can't recall a game
trying to stop it.
I can't recall that happening.
Even in points where you're like, hey, dude, it's 11-0 run here. You want to. And just
they
kind of.
He's very, very strategic. They just don't make coaching errors. And look, I get the question, and it's too early to answer it. Is this a tournament team? I don't know. I still think they're a score short.
They're a Brandon Murray waiver short.
Yeah, it's what I think. But I could be wrong. I don't know. They're much better than they were a year ago. This will probably be his worst team at Ole Miss. He's assuming they have the NIL to do it. I think he's going to be able to recruit good players. They're fun. That's what they are. Here's the thing: is the arena was a lot of fun for the first time in a while. And I've said this, and people, really nobody pushes back. Even some Ole Miss people who I think probably would love to push back are like, you're right. That place felt like a funeral home the last couple of years.
I thought the Tuesday night crowd against NC State was pretty good considering it was 8 o'clock.
Well,
it was fine.
He's done a fantastic job, Chris has, of getting the students involved. Made them feel like they're part of it.
All the pictures and the stuff. And
done the things on social media where they point out a kid, hey, come to the TUI Center and all that stuff. They've done things to make it cool to go to basketball games. Because for a little while, it was kind of weird to even go. And now it's fun. And basketball's supposed to be fun. And that environment on Saturday was a lot of fun. Like if you went to that game and you got there at 1 o'clock, you walked out of there at 3:15, 3:20, and you'd had fun. And it's a great arena. And there's lots of concessions and all of those things. And you can go have a really good experience there. And that's what it's built for. And on Saturday, for a little over 2 hours, that's what it was. And if they'll continue to play this way, I think they'll get great environments for SEC games. Now, they're going to lose some SEC games because everybody does, but
they've got that home opener feels like a really big game for them in the SEC because they're probably going to go to Knoxville and get beat. They're going to go to Knoxville and get beat.
Probably.
And come home, and they got Florida at home.
It's one
could you pull that one off because you got Vanderbilt next?
Yeah.
At home.
And get off to a
little start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not counting them out.
No, because if it's a close game with 2 to go, you go, well, hell. What's allowed Murray to get so much better?
Look, first and foremost.
He was uncomfortable as hell early in this season.
Yeah, he plays really hard.
Jamal Murray, for everyone, the point guard. I know they have the same last name. Jaden, sorry.
They wish they had Jamal Murray. That'd be a game changer.
They would make the tournament.
They win some games.
Sorry.
He would be a different.
Yes.
Jamal Murray would
was
be a difference maker for sure.
I was trying to not call him Juju.
I mean, if he bring
and I couldn't
Jokic
remember
with
his
him, they
first
might
name.
win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he's super comfortable as a point guard, but they're getting there.
Yeah.
And he's a good example, right? I don't think he defends the way that Beard wants him to defend yet, but he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as long as the effort's there, he's like, okay, I'm not going to crucify him because I'm putting him in some weird spots. Because I think in an ideal world, obviously, Brandon Murray's available and you have a different big guard there that can do some
it's
things.
a totally different deal.
But you're asking him, hey, and I can't take you out because I really don't have anybody to put in other than you. So just go play. And he's doing a good job of it. I mean, 9 assists, 1 turnover. You take that all day long.
Against Memphis. Really athletic team.
Yeah, with length and people love to do the thing about Penny and his teams or whatever. I thought they defended pretty well. Memphis did. I'm not going to do the pile on Penny thing. Do I think Beard's a better basketball coach than Penny Hardaway? Absolutely. Not even close. But I'm not going to do the Penny Hardaway's a terrible coach thing. It's not what I saw.
I'm counting up the wins. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ken Palm has Ole Miss 12-1 going into conference play. They have them losing Sunday at UCF. They have them losing that game 73-69. UCF currently 79 in the Ken Palm.
Okay.
But that's not a bad loss.
No,
they're going to play a Big 12 schedule, too.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Mount St. Mary's, Cal, they give Ole Miss a 2 out of 3 chance to beat Cal.
What's tomorrow night with Mount St. Mary's?
88%.
Yeah.
Mount St. Mary's is 257 in the Ken Palm at the moment. They're projecting a 15-point win. Cal, Troy, Southern Miss, and then Bryant closing it. All those at least 67% chances outside of UCF. And then, as to be expected, they give Ole Miss a 10% chance of winning a Knoxville Open League play. That will be a task.
So he's got them 8-10, you said, in the league?
7-11 this morning. It's fluctuating all over the place. Yeah. But again, that was like 4-14 4 days ago.
Yeah.
They're slowly.
Oh, I mean, well, the computers are liking them too.
Yeah, they still, the problem they have a little bit is that Memphis, because of how Villanova popped them, had fallen a little in the Ken Palm too, because they had that margin of defeat from that game and how they looked in the first half there at that point. And Arkansas hasn't played as well as we thought. Michigan has 3 losses. It's just been a little scattered.
No, they got help because Arkansas beat Duke.
That's true. Yeah. So it's been a little all over the place from that standpoint. So anyway.
The league will be fine from a net standpoint. Look, people have asked me how many league games do they have to win. I mean, to even get considered, probably 10.
You think they need 10?
That's my guess.
Okay.
9-9 might do it with the current net, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, continue the basketball conversation in a second. First, Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. 7 different flavors available for you. Almost 8 soon. They got the ginger soy coming here to Prime Shrimp. Pick up your favorites. Pick up several different packs, maybe the ones you haven't tried. Again, holidays, a lot going on. It's quick protein snacks during the day. It's lunch. It's great on salads or dinner to help you out when the kids have activities. Christmas parade tonight. Prime Shrimp could hook you up or make that easy for you. They deliver straight to your door. If you're within 10 minutes, freezer to plate, and we're going to give you 25% off. We're going to do that when you buy 5 pouches or more of any kind. 25% off with code RG at primeshrimp.com.
Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. Sand rings, grass rings, miles of wooded trails. There's so much offered at Southern Traditions. Horseback riding offerings from beginner to advanced to competing in nationally recognized competitions. It's also a great venue for events, corporate outings. So get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. Would you like some peace of mind knowing that your roof is taken care of? Whether you need an inspection, a new roof, or a maintenance program, Riverland Roofing has you covered, home or business. As a GAF Master Elite contractor, they can offer warranties that last a lifetime. Licensed and insured, Riverland services Mississippi and its surrounding states. So text or call Riverland today at 662-644-4297. Are you ready for the ultimate college experience? Welcome to College Town, Oxford, your new home away from home. They know you want the best. That's exactly what they offer. No more long commutes or missing out on campus events at Ole Miss. College Town, Oxford is right next door to campus, featuring spacious 2, 3, 4, and 5 bedroom cottages, each with individual leases because they believe in flexibility. and simplicity. Their incredible amenities will make you feel like you're living in a resort. Whether it's a weekend binge watch session or hosting the best game day parties, you'll do it in comfort and style at College Town, Oxford. So text their VIP list today. Become the first to know when their leasing for fall 2024 is open. 662-300-3733. I'll have a mailbag up on Wednesday. It's brought to you by Art Hayes of Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously, call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email Art at arthayes at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and a wireless mesh extender for those who need the extra help. Again, 662-238-3159. Just a little note here. I saw this on social media yesterday. I would credit the person who had it, but I don't know who it was. I apologize. At least not a common thing for most programs. I saw Ole Miss had former wide receivers that led their team in receiving yesterday in the NFL. 4 NFL teams were led by an Ole Miss alum at receiver. From a point standpoint,
DK.
That happens a lot. That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
2 more.
Malik.
Nope.
No. Packers. I'm trying to think.
Nope.
Okay.
Elijah Moore, Browns.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
Jonathan Mingo.
I was trying to think Mingo,
Okay.
but for some reason I was thinking Packers.
Well, Malik Heath plays
Malik's
for the
with the
Packers.
Packers. Okay.
Yeah. So 4 different ones.
Packers beat the Chiefs last night, right?
That is correct, yes. Jordan Love's played really well the last 2 weeks. Mingo leads the Panthers in receiving yesterday, and they lost to the Buccaneers. Elijah Moore leads the Browns and lost to the Rams, and then DK and AJ, yes, in their games. So that is correct. Back to basketball in a second, but pretty busy week in some different ways, things we don't normally talk about. We got the winter meetings on here in the studio this morning. That's going on with baseball this week. And then Army-Navy on Saturday, the one lone college football game. That is in Foxborough in Boston for the first time in 124 years. They're playing it in Boston. The MLS Cup is this week. Anybody know it was Columbus and LAFC in the finals of that from an MLS standpoint. And then that NBA in-season tournament does semifinals on Thursday, finals on Saturday for that game. Maybe the quarters tonight. Is that correct? I have that maybe.
Tonight's a knockout round. So
yeah. Okay. Whatever that looks like or doesn't look like at this point. Mississippi State and Auburn with pretty rough losses in men's basketball yesterday. Auburn lost to Appalachian State in a game where they were 3 of 27 from 3 and 9 of 19 from the stripe.
Oof.
The Tigers yesterday. And I think 5-point loss. Grind, you can correct me if I'm wrong there. And then Mississippi State got beat 60-59 by the Southern University Jaguars yesterday. Southern ending the game on a 12-0 run to win the game by 1 point in Starkville yesterday.
Oh,
not a good loss for the Bullies.
Ooh,
yeah, that'll pop you in some net down the road when that gets there. They were up 11 with like 3.5 to go and gave up a 12-0 run to lose by 1.
Wow, that stings.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Yeah, rough there.
Wow.
Just as the Ole Miss men's game was ending on Saturday, the women lost by 1, 60-59 in Hattiesburg to Southern Miss, their 3rd loss of the season. Oklahoma, Louisville, and Southern Miss. Staying in state, I saw State's women lost to Chattanooga yesterday also. So maybe the Ole Miss men are the best basketball team in the state. We wouldn't have thought that was coming here a few weeks ago. Maybe that's where we are at this point.
Wouldn't have put that on the bingo card. Nope. He's really
It's been fun watching him straight from a sports perspective and just seeing the growth here early. It's got to feel good for like Morrell and Brakefield, who got this last year to look competitive and feel like they're having a season that's got some merit to it.
Well, I mean, there's a decent chance they play some really meaningful games in February and March.
I mean, are they ranked today? Are they going to get ranked today?
They'll have a shot.
I think they had 5 votes last week. You got 2 name wins, which helps you in these polls.
The Memphis win helps you a lot.
Yeah. And NC State on ESPN. I mean, that's not nothing.
It's just so early.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm just curious
from
a poll mechanic standpoint.
And having Chris Beard on your bench gives you national credibility immediately.
That's what's happened.
Yeah. So people will notice.
Rothstein, Goodman, those guys mentioning it and talking about it.
They know how good of a coach he is. He took Texas Tech to the national championship game, went to overtime.
Yeah.
Also took him to the Elite Eight. Was turning Texas into a superpower. Why count him? The whole, you can't do it at Ole Miss. Why not? I'm not sure this isn't a guy that could do it anywhere.
And we didn't mention this, and I know he got posterized and all the Memphis people focused on that. Cisse made a hell of a difference inside for Ole Miss. He is so good defensively. I mean,
Yeah, I loved his answer to that question. He said, well, I don't know that he got dunked on. If you compete, sometimes the other guy's going to make a bucket.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're not going to win on an individual play.
But he was altering stuff all in the
post.
post.
A huge difference maker.
I mean,
he only played 15 minutes. So he'll start playing more now. He had to shake some rust off. He had an injury earlier in the fall that he's still was working through. So, I mean, he's not, when I say 100%, he's not completely basketball ready to go. And then that was, hell, he didn't get eligible till Tuesday. So it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get acclimated and play with new guys for the first time. And you can play 80 gazillion scrimmages.
Not the same thing.
And have 5 million, 4 gazillion practices. And it's not anything like, okay, we're playing in a game against another team. Referees, crowd, clock, the whole deal. It takes a minute to kind of figure that out. So I thought he was very effective in the time that he played. They don't win that game without him.
You missed no, that's true. He was altering a lot of stuff in there, and it lets you not you can put Sharp at a more manageable minutes and not get him in some bad situations and let that help and do things with Sharp as well.
And I thought Sharp played really well. I mean, he really did. I mean, he's got a liability laterally, but it's not a lack of effort. That's what really struck me. It was how hard they played, how smart. And it wasn't like hair on fire either. It was just hard. They played physical. They matched Memphis's intensity.
And you've also, I mean, it's another Beard thing that's an intangible, but you noticed it a ton late in the first half yesterday. He gets a little more mileage with the officials.
Yeah.
They let him get away with a little more than they let some guys get away with. I mean,
it's just got a level. There's a respect there.
Yeah. And again, you can bitch about it. You can say it's not fair, but it's where it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of coaches would have got teed up late in the first half yesterday or on Saturday. He got out there, even kind of bumped him a little bit, used some words.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, scoot
Chris,
back. Come on.
Go.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then they talked it out, you know.
Yeah.
And credit to the officials there, too.
Yeah.
Hey, it's an emotional game. So there's a lot of emotion in the crowd.
Got 2 coaches that are very high profile here.
Yeah.
Both going to get going. And I thought they let a lot go. I mean,
I thought it was a very well
late in the first half. It was only like 6 fouls to 4 or something. You went, hey, they're not.
And so the game had flow. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was credit to them.
They weren't calling hand checks and stuff on Saturday.
No, credit to them. I thought they called a really fair, consistent game that made it fun for the kids, fun for the fans, and I thought they handled both coaches really, really well. Kudos to that crew. They were very, very good. Who was that crew?
I don't even know.
I'll tell you. I think it'll be here. Yes, Pat Adams, Bart Lennox, and Owen Short.
Okay.
Pat Adams, one of the better officials in the country. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not a surprise.
Okay. So that was that. Speaking of, no news
that
on
way when I blow up a officiating crew later.
No, hey.
That was really well done.
Yeah, I thought so too. No news on Brandon Murray.
Not yet.
I'm still skeptical. I know there's some out there that think that some movement, some interference that has happened outside of the NCAA might push in a direction. We'll see. if he gets eligible, it changes things. We'll talk about it when it matters. That's kind of where we are.
I don't think it's over yet.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's about all I know.
Yeah, so we'll see. More basketball tomorrow, some NFL tomorrow, a lot going on there, and then more leading the way toward Ole Miss and Penn State in the Peach Bowl as well. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl again in Atlanta on December 30th. Nittany Lions and Rebels. So all that and more at rebelgrove.com. Plenty of portal movement today. Plenty going to be going on from a roster standpoint. So stay locked in, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.